Hello, and welcome to the Flick Advisor. Today we're going to review Jigsaw. Jigsaw is the 8th film in the Saw franchise. Jigsaw is directed by the Spierig brothers. I think they're making 10 years from Jigsaw's death, so that's where the movie picks up. And now there's these new Saw killings happening. And everybody knows that John Kramer, Jigsaw, has been dead for quite some time, 10 years to be exact, and they're wondering what's going on with these new Jigsaw killings. Everything matches the Jigsaw, MO.
But Jigsaw has been dead for 10 years.
It's not him. Can't be.
This was on the body.
The truth will set you free.
So now a new set of detectives try to figure out, what is this? Is somehow Jigsaw back from the dead? Is this a copycat? There's got to be a copycat, right? And so the story ensues from there. I can't tell you too much because I don't want to spoil a whole lot. What I will tell you is that the important things to know when watching a Saw movie. Now, if you watched a Saw movie before, you know there's only a few things that you really need to know. How good is the story? How good are the traps? And really, that's it. None of them had really exceptional acting. None of them had really mind-bending. I don't want to say that. Some of them had mind-bending kind of stories in them, but none of them had mind-blowing stories to them. I will say that I'm a fan of the Saw franchise, and I'll tell you why. Without going too far into messing up the review, I personally am a fan of the Saw franchise because Saw is one of the horror movie franchises that doesn't feel easily escapable. You watch Jason, you watch Friday the 13th movies, you watch Halloween movies. Freddy Krueger is pretty scary because he's tough to escape because everybody has to go to sleep, right? That's the scary part about Freddy. Freddy himself is not scary because he's always cracking jokes and stuff like that. The scary part about Freddy is you got to fall asleep sometime. You can't escape that. And so he's gonna figure out a way to get you one way or another. And so that inescapability is what makes Saw so good, in my opinion. There's plenty of horror movies where if the person hadn't have tripped, they would have gotten away. If the person hadn't have went into the basement, they would have gotten away, or they would have got away. If the person did not go back in the house, they would have been fine. It's the stupid decisions that the character makes that get them killed that kind of takes away the scary factor for me. Everybody likes to think that they're not going to make dumb decisions in those moments. And I'm the same. So when I see the characters make those dumb mistakes, I'm not afraid anymore. It's okay, I wouldn't have done that, so I would have got away. And, case closed. I'm not afraid. Whereas Saw, no matter what you do, the killer pretty much kind of has all your moves mapped out. And if you make the right move, you get away. If you make the wrong move, you die. It's kind of, I'm not going to say it's 50-50, but it's not based on silly mishaps or, silly mistakes. Did you make the right choice or did you make the wrong choice? Also, the fact that some of those traps I know I could never do. In the beginning of Saw 2, I believe it is, there's a trap where the person is, I think they're in the reverse bear trap. No, it's the nail one. It's the one that's going to close in on their head, and it's got nails and spikes if they don't put the key in time. Now, the video comes on, and Jigsaw explains to him,
"The device around your neck is a death mask. The mask is on a spring timer. If you do not locate the key in time, the mask will close. Think of it like a Venus flytrap. Taking into account that you are at a great disadvantage here, I am going to give you a hint as to where I've hidden the key, so listen carefully. The hint is this. It's right before your eyes. How much blood will you shed to stay alive, Michael? Live or die? Make your choice."
And he has a razor. He's got to cut his eye open to get the key out. Watching that, I know there's no way I could never cut my eye and get a key out of it and then undo the lock. It just wouldn't happen. I'd be a goner. And so that type of stuff is scary. Stuff that I know I cannot escape, or I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. I might be a goner in that case. That type of stuff is scary. So I'm sorry for the rant, but that's the reason why I think the Saw franchise is actually pretty good horror movies. At least some of them. Some of them are just bad. So is this one of the bad ones? Unfortunately, I would have to say yes. Jigsaw is one of the bad Saws. It's not the worst Saw, so it might be worth a look for you. I still have to place it above the final chapter. The final chapter was awful. It too seemed like a money grab. Jigsaw seems like a money grab, by the way. I'm just letting you know. But the final chapter, definitely felt like a money grab, more so than this one. This Jigsaw movie feels like fans of the original Saw franchise enjoyed the Saw franchise. Later on, 7 years later, got money and figured out that they wanted to make their own Saw movie. Aside from the fact that Tobin Bell, the character who plays Jigsaw, is in this does not feel like it belongs in the Saw franchise. It doesn't feel like it's part of the. It doesn't feel like it's part of the timeline. Part of the reason is because of the way it's written, the way it's kind of forced into the timeline. It doesn't feel like this should have ever happened. You're probably wanting to know about the twist. The twist. I'm not going to tell you about the twist. I will tell you that the twist is not that good because this exact same twist was done in a previous Saw. So it's not very creative or original. We've seen it before, and this movie should only be for fans of the franchise. Jigsaw is not for new fans. So why would they throw something at us that we've seen before? That I don't know. But the twist is underwhelming because you've seen the twist before. And, if you're watching closely, you'll be able to spot certain things. All I'll say is, potential spoiler here, all I'll say is they play with time. Watch it, if you pick up on it while it's playing, cool. If not, the twist comes at the end like all the Saw movies. And I just wish the twist was a little bit better because that's the fun. That's part of the fun of the Saw movies is when they pull the rug out from under you and you fall and you're stuck like this trying to figure out what's going on while the music is playing. The da na na da na na da na 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 na. And it's really exhilarating, except for in this case, it's and Saw the final chapter wasn't really good. The traps are okay. The traps, I would say they toned down the blood and gore a little bit. Not a whole lot, but a little bit, especially from the last one. Saw doesn't really deserve the torture porn label that it gets. It kind of birthed the franchise. It kind of birthed the genre. But then after Saw, the genre took off and it became a thing of its own. With Hostels and movies like that. The Saw series doesn't deserve the torture porn genre label it gets. It just kind of birthed it. Yeah, the story's not very great. The traps are okay. The twist at the end is pretty lame, mostly because we've seen it before. You already know the acting is pretty much direct-to-video or TV level acting, not even Netflix level acting. But that's to be expected from the Saw movies for the most part. I will say it looks more cinematic than some of the previous Saw movies, but I don't know if that's really a strike against it or something going forward because I believe previous Saw movies has cost less to make than this one. And so, if you know that it costs less to make and they've done pretty well in the box office, that's a success. This movie looks like it costs a little bit more. It doesn't look like it's going to make a whole lot at the box office. So in the box office terms and in terms of money and the bottom line, I suspect it's a bit of a failure in that sense too. Overall, Jigsaw is one of the worst Saws. It's not the worst. I'd say it's a little bit better than 7, maybe on par with 6. but that's it. The other ones are head and shoulders above it. Just go see it if you want to see it for the traps. If you want to see it for the trap house effect, that's really the only reason to see Jigsaw. So for that, I probably got to give it a low rating. I got to give it a 4 out of 10. I could rate it higher if it at least gave me a better twist at the end. Give me something you haven't given me before. Give me something I don't see coming. But this movie, it gave me a rehash of one of the previous twists. So for that, I got to give it a 4 out of 10. Only go see it if you want to see it for the traps. That's about it. Right. Please, in the comment section, let me know what your favorite Saw movie is if you've seen it. If you've seen them. I would say 2 is my favorite. Most of you guys will say 1 because it's the original. But I thought 2 was the more interesting one because it took the best things from the original Saw and put it with multiple people, not just 2 people, but like 4 or 5 people in a house. It kind of, I imagine it like it's the real world and Saw put together. I thought that was a neat little thing that they did with Saw 2. The traps are crazy. It's Saw 2 for me. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what your favorite Saw movie is if you have one. Leave a like rating, please. Subscribe. I got more reviews coming. Also some trailer reactions. It's the Flick Advisor signing out. Thank you.